Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm back on my makeup channel. I've been gone for a really long time. I've been gone because I went back to school. Yay me! I'm getting my bachelor's degree. So I took a break to get back into the, into the routine of going to college. College is great. I'm getting my bachelor's. I'm back on my makeup channel because after over a year, no, I think it's been a year. I think my last video was in October. Or has it been 2 years? It's been a long time. I don't even remember. I'm back. I'm ready to get back into things. Today I'm going to be doing a purple look. We're gonna go to a Halloween event later, and I wanted to do something not so costumey, but still something fun. So I'm gonna do a purple smoky eye, but bright purple, dark purples, I'm not sure. You guys are just gonna have to see what I come up with because I don't really have a plan. I am now, let me start my makeup and then I'll continue talking. So I did my eyebrows off camera earlier because I don't feel like spending time doing my eyebrows on camera. I was going to do my eyes first, but I'm changing my mind. I'm going to do my skin first. The first thing I'm going to do is use this Cover FX Blurring Primer. I know a lot of people either really believe in primer or just don't even bother with primer. I like using primers. I think it smooths out my skin and covers, or not covers, but fills in my pores. So I do like using not Cover FX, but I do like using primers. Sometimes I will just moisturize and throw on some foundation, but today feels like a primer candy day. For my foundation, I'm going to be using a mixture of these two drugstore items. It's the Maybelline Fit Me and the L'Oreal Paris. That was my mom sneezing, if you could hear that. So what I was going to say earlier when I started the video was that before, when I tried filming my videos, I tried to make them super perfect, and I wanted to make sure there was no noise in the background, and it's impossible for me to have a perfect studio setting. I live with 6 other people and we have 2 dogs, so it's almost impossible to have a super quiet, perfect studio setting. So yeah, after this whole year of wanting to come back to YouTube and do makeup, I realized I was stressing myself out so much because I was trying to have such a perfect setting, and I realized, you know what? My channel, my videos, I can run them however I want. And they're not going to be perfect, and you're going to hear noises in the background. You're going to hear my mom, you're going to hear my kids, you're going to hear the dogs. You might hear other people in the house. But it's okay. That's my life. That's what I deal with. And if you guys are here and you support me, then you'll accept me for who I am, right? The L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte first. I'm going to go over my foundation now with the Maybelline Fit Me, just to give it a little bit more coverage. I don't want too much cake face going on today, even though I do have a situation here on my chin that I want to cover, but I don't want like a really thick layer, so I'm going to go pretty light on this too, just how I kind of did with the Infallible. And another way I'm keeping light coverage is by using the brush to just buff around the foundation. Something I always find interesting is how people put the foundation on their face. Like today I decided to put dots. I don't know why. Usually I'll use a beauty blender, or even when I use a brush, I'll put it on my brush sometimes and put it on my face. But it's so funny how, at least for me, I always change the way I initially apply it, and then I'll use my tool to buff it around or blend it into my skin. But I always see other people use or apply their foundations differently on their face. It's interesting to me. I actually had to go find a sponge. I was going to call it a beauty blender, but this I think is the Morphe sponge because I need a sponge to do my concealer. I'm going to use ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and I might use a little bit of my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer as well. I say I don't want cake face. Chances are I'm going to end up with cake face. It always happens. and I'm okay with it. I love the way the ColourPop concealer feels, but this shade that I got is a little too gray. It doesn't feel like it has enough color for my skin tone. I mean, it looks okay, but I like the color from this one, the Tarte Shape Tape, the light neutral. I like the color that it gives me under my eyes. But the Tarte Shape Tape feels like it's more drying than the ColourPop for me. So I mix it. I use a lighter, I'm a little bit lighter with the Shape Tape. I just use it for the color payoff. I'm going to set my eyes using the Laura Mercier powder. I've tried that new Becca hydrating powder, and as amazing as it feels when you put it on your face and it feels super moisture and almost wet on your skin, once that feeling goes away, it makes my skin look super dry. So dry. And I'm pretty sure it's the combo of products I'm using that's making it react that way, because it's not supposed to. The whole point of it is to feel hydrating and look hydrating, but I have to keep playing with that one and see what combo works well with that powder and what concealer works well, because the last time I used it, it was a no. I'm going to pile a lot of this powder on under my eyes because we're going to go in with some eyeshadow now. I'm going to leave my face alone, let this foundation and concealer kind of sit on the face and melt into the skin before I finish it off. I'm going to start working on the eyes. For my eyes, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using a combo of 3 palettes. I have this Pure Festival palette. I have the Violet Voss Essentials palette. And then I have the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. Like I said, I want to do a purple look, but I need something deep as a base. Well, I want something deep on the base, on the outer corner and the inner corner, so I'm probably going to use Androgyny from here. And from the Violet Voss one, I thought this Plum Berry was really pretty. So I'm going to incorporate that somehow. And then this purple in the Pure Festival palette, this purple, that's beautiful. I hope that comes out how I'm picturing it in my head right now. I think I'm going to use this Gypsy. Yeah, I'm going to use this Gypsy the most, but I want that Plum Berry and the Androgyny underneath to give it some depth. I still have some concealer on my eyes, but I'm going to go in with the Morphe Eyelid Primer with a concealer brush so I can have a lot of base on so these colors can really pop. And while I'm doing my eyes, I wanted to tell you guys about another project that I started with my niece. And when I say niece, everyone expects, or everyone I think pictures like a little girl, but no, my niece is only a year younger than me, or 2 years younger than me. She's 2 years younger than me. So we're around the same age. And we started a podcast. And it's called lasbrujasandfriends podcast. So we're calling ourselves witches. And that's because our podcast is about spooky stuff. So it's about legends, folklore, myths. So we talked about La Llorona. We talked about pretty much like the mainstream ones, I think, already. We talked about La Llorona. We talked about the Chupacabra. We talked about El Cucuy. A lot of it is a little bit more Latin-based, Hispanic-based, but we are venturing out to different countries, but that's why it's called Las Brujas and not just like Spooky Cast or something, because we're trying to focus more on our culture since we are Latinas. But that's not to say everybody can't enjoy it, okay? Everybody can enjoy it. It's not like we're speaking Spanish the whole time. It is in English. We do try to speak Spanish. We are not fluent in Spanish at all. But we try. We do our best. Yeah, so check it out. I'll leave the links somewhere around here on the screen, in the description box. They're going to be somewhere, so just check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. It's more fun. I sometimes try to make it scary, like I try to make it sound like I'm telling a ghost story around a campfire. I laugh too much, and I am extremely skeptical. I'm a believer, but I'm skeptical, which doesn't make sense. But I always try to find a reason why things happen, but I try to find a reason why things happen. So some people might see a flickering light and say like, oh my God, that's a ghost. And in my head, what I go to is, it's probably just electrical, guys. I'm always so skeptical. Or when people say they hear things like on an EVP or when they record stuff, I'm like, it's probably interference, because our world is filled with electrical items. We have watches, we have phones, and they're always constantly sending signals. Like, you know, you're getting emails and text messages, and it's trying to connect to Wi-Fi and try to connect to 5G service or 4G or whatever G's we're on right now. So I'm always just like, yeah, there's an interference always somewhere. Even if you're in an abandoned place, you have all this electrical equipment with you. I'm always like, it's just electrical interference. It's not a ghost. So this is the androgyny I just went in with. I'm gonna dip into this Violet Voss Plumberry and kind of start blending it all in. I don't know. Maybe I won't use Plumberry. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go in with it and see what happens. No, that looks pretty. That actually looks really pretty. This gypsy color right in the middle, hopefully it all looks well, because this came out more maroon. And I'm only going to do one eye, and then I'll do the other eye like quickly off camera, so this isn't the longest video of life. Because I do have to get the kids ready in their costumes, and we're going to go trunk or treating. Right? Trunk or treat? Yeah, that's the event. That's what it is. To make this gypsy color really pop, I'm going to go back in with that eyeshadow primer. Making sure this one hasn't creased up like crazy. I'm going to go in and lightly apply it in the middle. I'm going to go in with a flat, small brush that I can really pack this eyeshadow on with. If I can find one in my brush collection here. I'm going to try this little brush from Real Techniques. See if this works. Look at all of the fallout on my face. I don't mind fallout. To me, if there's fallout, and I'll clean it after. And I think one of the reasons why I don't mind fallout is because I'm a messy artist. I make the biggest mess when I'm doing my makeup, which isn't very efficient because then I have to go back and clean it all up, which is kind of wasting some time. But for me, it doesn't matter. It's about what it looks like in the end. So more work for myself, but I think it's worth it. Now I'm going to go back into androgyny, and I'm going to take a fluffy brush to start blending out the edges. So yeah, I like to talk about haunted things, and so does my niece, obviously. That's why she's doing the podcast with me. We are doing it together, but we're skeptics. Like, we believe, but... And I have a ghost story that I'm going to tell on the podcast one day. I guess you guys are going to get a little sneak peek, but I saw a ghost one time. Like, there was no explanation. There was no explanation as to what I saw because I was in my car driving. And it's so funny because I always hear about those stories about how people are driving and they pick up a hitchhiker and then really it was a ghost because like the person gets in the car, but then when they look back, they're gone, or whatever the story might be. And it happened to me. I didn't pick up a hitchhiker. I would never do that. I was alone, especially alone at night. But I was alone and I saw something. I saw something with my own eyes. I still can see it in my mind today. Like, I see the figure. And it's scary to know that I saw something. And it's so unexplainable, and I'll go into more detail on the podcast. I don't know when I'm going to tell the story. Maybe it'll be like a Halloween special. But I saw something. There's no other way to say it. So it's so funny how I call myself a skeptic, even though I feel truly in my soul, in my heart, that I did see a ghost. And I was young, too. I was younger. I was a teenager. And that I'm still skeptical. Maybe it's the part of my brain that doesn't want to be scared. And it's like, there's no. It happened, but it didn't happen. I want more of that purple color, so I'm going back in with that eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna pack it more, or I'm gonna apply more of this primer and I'm gonna pack that color on way more because it's so pretty. The gypsy color from the Pure palette is so pretty. And I am still using that Plumberry from the Violet Voss palette to kind of blend the two colors together. Yeah, that looks good. Once we clean it all up, do the other eye, throw some eyeliner and lash on, that's gonna look... Sorry, I think I'm gonna bleep that out because I don't want to curse on my channels. Once it's all cleaned up and finalized, it will look so good. I'm gonna go ahead, just like every other YouTuber out there, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye off camera. I might come back with lashes, I might not. We'll see if I want to do lashes off camera. I think I should because it's just a lash. You just kind of pop that sucker on and keep going. So yeah, I'll see you. You're gonna see me right now. Okay, so I'm back. I did the other eye. I did a lash. I covered up some red spots that I still saw peeking through my skin. So I did that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my under eye. I did already put mascara on. I was double checking to make sure I put mascara on. So I have mascara on. I'm going to take my foundation brush. I'm going to go in with some primer, some of the eyeshadow primer again, because this purple in the Pure palette needs something to really make it pop. It needs something liquid under it to really grab all that color. So I'm going to use this primer, and I'm going to do right here on the, like the inner third. I actually think I need more than what I grabbed. Hopefully that was enough. Let's see if it was. I'm going to use that really bright purple. Oh yeah, that's really coming out pretty. What I always do when I'm doing the under eye for my eyes, I go in with black eyeshadow first underneath, and then I'll go in with whatever color I use for the darkness on the top. I'm just going to use the same brush that I used for the androgyny color. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to dip into the black that's in the Violet Voss. Hopefully this is a good black. Hopefully it's a good black. Yeah, that's good. I think that's pretty good payoff for a black. Yeah, that looks pretty, right? Looks good. I feel like I'm trying to talk myself into it. Even though I think it looks good, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, that looks really great. And then I'll use a different product. Another time I'm like, oh, this one's way better. So I dipped into the androgyny, and then I'm going to just blend it underneath, kind of on top, just kind of get in there. And then I'm going to blend this corner out with the fluffy brush. I'm going to get my fluffy brush again with a little bit of eyeshadow and then just start blending this out. All you need is a good fluffy brush. Let me blend this out a little bit more up here too. Just do the same thing to the other side. Very, very lightly. I'm using like the lightest hand ever. I'm going to get a little blush brush, a fluffy brush with some powder on it, some of the Laura Mercier powder, just so I can get this fallout without making it worse than what it is. So that's going to be it for the eyeshadow. That's pretty much done. I might blend it out. I might not. It looks good enough to me. It looks good enough for me. I'm going to just start doing my contour, spray my face with some setting spray, put some highlighter, get all that done. Not bad, guys. Not bad for my first video back. So yeah, I'm back. Hopefully I will be uploading at least once a week. The goal is twice a week, but for right now, I am still in college. I am almost there. I'm going to be uploading at least once a week. I am also going to be uploading. We upload once a week on our podcast. So if you're into spooky stuff, check it out. I think that's it, guys. I'm happy to be back. Yeah. I will see you on the next one. Bye!